I don't feel good about this, and there's no way to feel about this. But we have a problem. We have another problem. Let me tell you what that other problem is. The other problem is that we have women in this country who are aborting children at 7 months, who are getting rid of babies because they don't want the child anymore. They are finding ways to get rid of the children, unborn children. And so I don't know that I can sympathize with their vehemence in this matter when many of them are guilty of the very same thing. I sympathize with, or empathize with them, let me put it this way. I sympathize with Lauren's family. I sympathize with them because they've truly lost 2 lives. And if the perpetrator, the law does not allow for the perpetrator to be charged with 2 murders. In the US, he would be charged with 2 murders. But the laws of the Bahamas doesn't allow for that. But for the law to allow for that, there has to be another thing at play. Because we have persons in this country who are aborting children at a significant level of their pregnancy. Will the law, if we desire the laws to change so that the person who perpetrates this action is punished for both deaths, will we apply that same law for when persons who decide, I just don't want this baby, or I don't want this man no more, so I ain't keeping this child? Will we apply the law in cases like that? That's something to think about. Abortion isn't legal in the Bahamas, as far as I'm aware. Maybe it is, I don't think it is. People they go get on DNC. It's DNC. They go and get the DNC. And they call it DNC because they don't want to say they're having an abortion. But they're using the DNC to scrape the baby out and get rid of everything else, but they don't want them. Killing the child. We need to decide. Good night. We need to decide what we want in this matter. What our real position is. But we can't be all over the place about it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's just the way it is. And it's a sad, sad situation. But this young man must face the consequences of his actions. And I truly wish that he could face punishment for 2 murders. But when is a child considered another life? An unborn child considered another life? At what age? And what regulations do we, when we put in place regulations to punish somebody who commits a crime like this, do we also put in place legislation that will address mothers who are aborting children at their whims and fancy at a certain level? When do we decide that this is life and it is not life? These are the questions that we need to answer.